So you're thinking about maybe building a house here in the Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh, Triangle area, North Carolina. And you're wondering, what are the costs or what are the hidden things I need to think about? What don't I know about building a house basically from scratch? Well, folks, check out this video. I'm going to run down 5 very important things to consider when building a house here in the North Carolina Triangle area. My name's Armand, realtor with Team Armand EXP Realty. I've been in the real estate business over 20 years. Love helping people buy and sell real estate here in the area. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you'd like to hear further in these other videos. We'd love to help you. If you subscribe, you'll be the first to receive news about what's going on in the Triangle real estate market. Okay, folks, so building a house here in the Triangle area, there are 5 things to consider. Let me run down the first thing to consider, which is your price per square foot. Now, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of websites saying that the average cost for building a house here in North Carolina is about $151 a square foot. Man, I can tell you, if there's some builder out there that's willing to build for $151 a square foot, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're at. If you're out there, please come to me because I have plenty of buyers that want to build houses with you. So let me know. I got to tell you, folks, here it is. In the spring of 2024, costs have gone up tremendously. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a home builder willing to build a house for you for less than $300 a square foot. Most of them are starting about $350 a square foot. And to be honest with you, it's really hard to find a builder willing to do it for less than $400 a square foot. And $500 a square foot is very, very common these days. The reason for that is prices have gone up, costs have gone up, mainly labor. The pandemic knocked a lot of people out of the business, both the builders and the general contractors themselves, and also the general labor. The general labor force has just kind of disappeared. And so the people who are left that are still willing to swing hammers, literally, are charging twice as much for their services. They're hard to find. Cost of materials went up tremendously during the pandemic due to supply chain problems. And I tell you what, even though supply chain problems have kind of worked themselves out, it appears that the middlemen liked those high prices. And so the cost of lumber and various materials really hasn't come down all that much. It really hasn't come down enough to really appreciate to really hit the market. The second thing to consider, a very important consideration, is the difference between land cost and house cost. So this $350 to $500 a square foot cost I was just talking about, that's really just for the house itself. That does not take into account the cost of buying the land that you're going to build your house on. And here's an important consideration. Most builders and bankers look at the cost of the land in terms of a ratio, as opposed to when compared to the cost of the house building the house itself. And the ratio that builders and bankers are looking at, they like to see it at a 1-to-5 ratio. That means that the cost of the land should be about 1/5 of the final cost, the finished product of your house. So 1/5 is the cost of land, and then 4/5 is the cost of building the house. As a practical example, let's say you were going to buy a piece of land for $200,000. Then builders or bankers are going to want to see the cost of that house you're going to build at about $800,000. That's just for building the house. I'll tell you, we've had a lot of buyers that were willing to buy land at a 1/3 ratio. That is, the cost of the land is 1/3 of the final finished product. That's where they find a piece of land that's really beautiful and just like, the land has some special features to it that are worth spending the extra money on it. That's perfectly fine. It's up to the individual. But let's say we're talking about $1 million worth of spending here. Your land is going to cost $333,000, and your house is going to cost $666,000. That's the ratio, 1-to-3 to 5-to-3. That's the general cost comparison of land to house. The third consideration is something called your site prep. That's where the builder goes in and they clear out the land. They put in an initial driveway, clear out the land. They do a survey, by the way, to find out, not where your lot lines are and then where your house is going to be. They're going to check to see about what to do about your water and sewer. We'll talk about that in just a second. Basically, site prep costs between $20,000 to $50,000, depending on the plot of land and depending how hard it is to clear, et cetera, and so forth. Your fourth consideration is checking out whether you're going to be on well and septic or city, county, water and sewer. Very big consideration. Most properties sort of out, away from the city, away from the suburbs, are going to be on well and septic. So in order to consider that, there needs to be a perk test done to see if a septic system can be installed on that particular lot. Not all land perks, not all land can support a regular conventional septic system. So that's very important to get your land tested before you even buy that piece of land. I will tell you that yes, even when a piece of land does not perk and you cannot get a conventional septic system, by the way, a conventional septic system is going to cost anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. There is a possibility, if you can't get that conventional septic system in, there is a possibility of getting what we call an unconventional septic system in. And the problem with the unconventional septic system is that your costs go up enormously. Unconventional systems have to be regulated by the state as opposed to conventional, which is regulated by the county. But even more so, an unconventional septic system has to be specifically engineered. And there are actually quite a few different kinds of unconventional septic systems, but they generally cost between $40,000 and $50,000. So that's quite a bit of an additional cost. If you're on city water and sewer or county water, county sewer, what have you, yes, your costs come down enormously. You still have to connect. You still have to connect to the water and sewer in the street, which is an expense. That's all that is called site prep. And as I say, $20,000 to $50,000 or even more if you're going to have an unconventional septic system. The fifth consideration is how long it's going to take to get that house, your dream house, built. I will tell you that before the pandemic, frankly, we could get houses built in about 5 to 6 months. Sometimes, the really nice custom builders were saying, okay, not 5 to 6 months, it'll take me 9 months. 12 months at the outside, absolutely. But most of the real good custom builders could build it in about 9 months, 8 or 9 months. Since the pandemic, things have changed enormously. I gotta tell you that getting a custom home built in about 18 months is pretty much the norm these days. So you really gotta plan well ahead. We'd be lucky to get a home built here in 8 or 9 months these days, or under 12 months to be honest with you. So plan in a long-term, quote-unquote, event horizon. Folks, to be honest with you, that's a pretty short outline of what it takes and what it costs to build a house here in the Triangle area. There's a lot more to it, so I hope you'll contact me for more conversations about that. My contact information is below. Call, text, email, set up a Zoom with me. Happy to talk anyway. And the most important thing is, if you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house, anywhere from 9 days to 9 months from now, I'm happy to talk to you at any time, okay? I'm here to help. I appreciate your time. And don't forget to subscribe, okay? Thanks. Talk to you later.